Good afternoon, everyone.
Hi.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello.
Looks like we to go. As chair of the commission, I call this meeting of the Michigan Independent Citizens Redistricting to order at 4:02 p.m. This Zoom webinar is live streamed on YouTube on the Michigan Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission YouTube channel. For anyone in the public watching who would prefer to watch via a different platform than they are currently using, please visit our social media at Redistricting MI. Our live stream today includes closed captioning. Closed captioning, ASL interpretation, and Spanish, Arabic, and Bengali translation services will be provided for effective participation in today's meeting. Email us at redistricting@michigan.gov for additional viewing options or details on accessing the language translation services for this meeting. Also, people with disabilities needing other accommodations should also contact redistricting@michigan.gov. This meeting is being recorded and will be available at www.michigan.gov/MICRC for viewing at a later date. The meeting is also being transcribed, and those closed caption transcripts will be made available and posted on the website, as well as written public comment submissions. There's also a public comment portal that may be accessed by visiting michigan.gov/MICRC. Members of the media who may have questions during, before, or after the meeting should direct those questions to Executive Director Edward Woods III at woodse3@michigan.gov. We will now take the roll. For the public watching and the public record, I will turn to Department of State to take note of the commissioners present.
Good afternoon, commissioners. Please say present when I call your name. If you are attending this meeting remotely, please announce during roll call you're attending the meeting remotely. And unless your absence is due to military duty, announce your physical location by stating the county, city, township, village, and state from which you are attending the meeting remotely. I will begin roll call alphabetically with Commissioner Andrade.
Present from Fairfax County, Falls Church, Virginia.
Commissioner Callahan.
Present, attending remotely from Mexico.
Commissioner Curry.
Present and attending remotely from Detroit, Michigan.
Commissioner Eid.
Good afternoon, present, remotely attending from Detroit, Michigan.
Commissioner Kellum. Commissioner Lang.
Present, Osceola County, Michigan.
Commissioner Letts.
Present, attending from Lee County, Florida.
Commissioner Muldoon.
Present from Carlton, Michigan.
Commissioner Orton.
Present, attending remotely from Battle Creek, Michigan.
Commissioner Zatella.
Present, attending remotely from Oakland County, Michigan.
Commissioner Villette.
Present, attending remotely from Highland Township, Michigan.
Commissioner Wagner.
Present, attending remotely from Eaton Township, Michigan.
Commissioner Weiss.
Present, attending remotely from Saginaw Township, Saginaw, Michigan.
And I'm going to go back to Commissioner Kellum. Mr. Chair, you have 12 commissioners present. You have a quorum.
Thank you, Ms. Young.
You're welcome.
As a reminder for the public watching, you can view today's agenda at www.michigan.gov/MICRC. I'll now entertain a motion to approve the agenda for today's meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All right, there is a motion by Commissioner Lett and a second by Commissioner Weiss. Is there any discussion? Executive Director Woods. You are muted, sir. We cannot hear you.
Thank you. I'd like to pull the appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court until a later date, possibly tomorrow, but just not today.
Okay. I will submit that as an amendment to the motion to table item 7C, appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court. We will move it to a later date.
Commissioner Ede, with all due respect, Mr. Woods is not a commissioner and he can't make that motion. We need a commissioner to make that motion. But I am happy to make that motion for him and move to amend the agenda to remove the Supreme Court appeal discussion.
Thank you, Commissioner Sell. Yeah, I thought I was doing that, but you can submit it. So we have an amendment by Commissioner Zatella, and I will second that amendment. Is there any discussion on the amendment? Hearing none, all those in favor of the amendment to the agenda to table item 7C, appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court, please raise your hand and say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Nay.
The ayes have it. We will now turn to the main motion to adopt the agenda as amended. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we will move to vote. All those in favor of adopting the agenda as amended, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
The ayes have it. We will now move on to agenda item 4, public comment guidelines. Without objection, we will begin the public comment portion pertaining to agenda topics for today's meeting. Is there any objection? Individuals who have signed up and indicated they would like to provide live remote public comment to the commission will now be allowed. I will call your name and our staff will unmute you. If you are on a computer, you will be prompted by the Zoom app to unmute your microphone and speak. If you are on the phone, a voice will say the host wants you to speak and prompt you to press *6 to unmute. Also, please note if you experience technical or audio issues and we do not hear from you for 3 to 5 seconds, we will move on to the next person in line and then return to you after they are done speaking. If your audio still doesn't work, you can email redistricting@michigan.gov and we will help you troubleshoot so you can participate during the next public comment period at a later meeting. You'll have 90 seconds to address the commission. Please conclude your remarks when you hear the timer. We have 3 public comment today. 3 folks that signed up for public comments. The first of which is Brittany Washington.
That participant is not present.
All right, we will move on to the second person who signed up for public comment, and that will be James Gallant.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
All righty then. Thank you very much, James Gallant. These are my opinions. And I signed up for all 5 public comments this week, and I do expect to get those. And I'm here today to pave the road to the Michigan Supreme Court with the good intentions of Chairman Anthony Ede. And of course, doing the wrong thing for the right reasons is still wrong. First, we see that Secretary Benson is not here again today as a secretary. We have no secretary, which is a fundamental violation of common law. And of course, Chairman Orton and Secretary Benson did not ensure that the meeting minutes were approved at the next meeting for many meetings, for what, almost 24 meetings. Now, second, under the new business. Oh, wait a minute. I mean, iterations for each item. It's not new business. Section 6.1.1 is the order of business, and this is not the order of business. There is no considerations. It's just, it isn't one question at a time, one yes or no question. Remember, page 366, line 8, one question at a time. There's going to be multiple proposals for a question after you agree on a question, and then you're going to formally consider it after that. That's what's going to probably completeness. I believe that some of your commissioners said choose not to answer and did not answer some of the required on your application things. I don't know who told you that. Is that the way the Secretary Benson identified Let, Kellum, and Zatella saying choose not to answer? Who told you to put that on that application?
Thank you, Mr. Gallant. We will now move on to the third speaker for today, Mr. Anthony Scannell.
Thank you very much, MICRC. So if you tabled the Supreme Court thing, I guess that means I'm not supposed to talk about it because it's not an agenda topic, but I think you're wasting our money and doing all kinds of silly things over there, but so be it. And I think you're defending a bad product, two bad products. Anyway, okay, mapping procedures is one thing I'm worried about, and I'm worried about the names of the maps that come up. You know, you make a new edit or someone changes one district here and you get 25-04-24_V2_SD_XYZ. Can we just get a new name if you're going to make a new version of a map? Like a flower, whatever it is, a flower, a place, person, place, noun, animal, mineral, whatever it is, just the string of numbers. You can keep it. It just doesn't really tell the public a whole lot. Even though, I mean, I know what it means, but it's hard to keep track of it. Just please, can you give us a new name if you make a new edit on a map? Okay, thank you. Moving on. Fast maps. I didn't know what that was. And now that I learned what it was, I'd like to hear if the gentleman would be interested in presenting what was motioned towards last meeting. I think it is an interesting idea, and he could totally submit a map for free. I mean, if he has any good ideas, but it's kind of funny if it's going to be like a Wizard of Oz behind the curtain with my special algorithm. I don't think you should pay for that. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Scannell. That concludes our public comment for today's meeting. Please feel free to email public comments to the commission at redistricting@michigan.gov. We appreciate everyone who offers public comment in whatever way you choose and invite you to keep sharing your thoughts. Next up on the agenda is mapping. So we will be moving on to the mapping portion of this meeting. Without objection, we will move on to the mapping portion of our meeting. Is there any objection? All right, hearing none, do we have somebody from EDS with us today? Hello, Mr. Morgan.
Yeah, I'm here. Commissioner Callahan has her hand raised.
Thank you. It's always nice to have you with us. Commissioner Callahan.
Yeah, before we jump right into mapping again, I wonder if we can have a little context and level setting, at least for the new commissioners. It would be very instructive for me to hear from the commissioners who went through this exercise last time to talk about the Linden map a little bit, how it changed from the map that was there before, what things about it you think are the strengths that were really good that we should try to keep in place, at least for the districts that we're going to be trying to redraw, what things were perhaps pushed aside because of the racial criteria that you were using to consider when you were drawing that map that we will try not to do now. Are there communities of interest that were not well represented just because they got deprioritized or not well accommodated? And I mean, I know we got better partisan fairness, but what else did we get with your redraw that we should keep? And what things do you think, either from public comment or communities of interest, were not well addressed that we need to concentrate on this second time around? Is there anybody that can talk to any of that? I'd like to hear from multiple commissioners if possible.
Are there any commissioners that would like to speak to that at this time? Don't be shy.
Well,
Commissioner Orden.
I don't really know where to start with all that. I understand the questions, Donna, but I don't know really where to start. But one thing that I can say, you said how it's different. You asked how it's different than the map was before. We did not even look at the previous maps. We started from scratch when we drew it, following, we started with communities of interest and then moved on. So I can at least give you that much information.
Well, were there places where you felt like you made a really bad compromise in order to accommodate the goal of the keeping the voting age population racially where you wanted it, that now you look at it, you say, no, we're going to have to do that, or we're going to start race blind. We really need to go back and address that thing that we didn't do very well the first time. Any mistakes you want to correct?
I can't think of one specifically, but I wonder if, John, could you put Linden on the screen so we can look at at least the Detroit area?
Okay, let me share the screen. Okay, so just to clarify here, this is the Senate final Linden plan. I just put 2024 on it. And otherwise, it's exactly the plan that was enacted. And it's zoomed in on the Detroit area. Let me move the data away. Also, since this is the first time we're looking at this map, I just want to show here that there's no racial data in the plan as it stands now. I believe that's what the commission has instructed us to do based on the last meeting from the attorneys. So here is the plan, and I can zoom around and see direct.
Commissioner Wagner, I see your hand.
Thank you, Chair. John, is there any way that you could also, I don't know if you can pull up two maps, or because I know this is a very intense memory sucking program. If you can put up two different maps, so Linden and like Linden with all the areas that we need to redraw, taking out like we did for the house.
I haven't done that yet, but you know, I don't know that. I assume that's where you want to begin, but no one has said that you actually want to begin that way exactly. The enjoined districts were 1 here, 3, 6, 8, 10, and 11. And again, this is just the map as it is now. If we want to make edits or delete districts or do something like that, I would make a copy and do that for you.
Well, and just speaking to what Commissioner Callahan was asking, personally, if you want to know what we thought, I'd say read the dissenting reports. I just think we just need to do what we did with the House and take out those, and let's just start fresh.
Yeah, those districts that are that we have to redraw were in Mr. Kim Brace's PowerPoint from last week as well. It is those 6 districts: 1, 6, 8, 3, 10, and 11. And I think when we get to actually drawing, that probably would be a good place to start.
So it looks to me, Anthony, like, or everyone, that those districts are primarily long, skinny oblongs again. Is that the big objection? I mean, from generally speaking, that we're going from deep in Detroit to far north in the suburbs instead of having more square districts that are more compact geographically, cover less distance?
I'm not sure it's necessarily the shape. What the court tasked us to do was to redraw these maps without looking at race, right? And part of the reason they do look long and skinny is because, we were looking at race last time. So not looking at race could produce a similar map to pretty much what we did. If you're calling the house maps like districts 5 and 6, I'd say it's a little similar to that scenario. If you recall, 5 and 6 were the ones that stretched from like Royal Oak down into Detroit. So there's kind of a parallel in the way that they're shaped in that way, but personally, I don't think the shape really tells the full story.
Right, so is there any reason that 10, for example, goes up from basically the Detroit riverfront so far north, or the same thing for 7? 7 is a very northern district, except it does dip below 8 Mile. Is there a community of interest we're addressing there, or were you just picking up a Black population?
Commissioner Lett?
It probably will be about as unpopular as can be once I get done here. But to answer your question, the Senate districts go north in order to lower the BVAP in the districts. One of the things that the commission considered starting was that the districts initially appeared to be packed, and the attempt was made to unpack them, and to do that in 2 different ways. One would be to consider communities of interest as we were drawing, and secondly, then to consider the percentage of the population in order to come down to what we had been advised at the time would be sufficient to allow minorities to a minority population to have an opportunity to elect a person of their choice. Obviously, that did not turn out to be the case according to the court, and accordingly, they made the ruling that we considered race too heavily in drawing these. But to say that we drew these without considering communities of interest at all would not be accurate, in my opinion anyway. I think we had, as a commission, a number of discussions, even as we were lowering the BVAP rates and looking at these and looking at communities of interest still as we drew these. I don't know if that helps you. If you have another question or inquiry of me while we're talking about this, I'd be happy to entertain what it is you would like to know.
A little, Steve, that does help a little. Thank you.
Commissioner Orton, I saw your hand.
Well, Steve basically said what I was going to explain, just that the reason the districts go from Detroit up into the suburbs is we were trying not to pack. And because that's what we were taught with the VRA, that we need to avoid packing. So the only way to do that is to leave Detroit, and go up. That's why they look like they do. But we did pay attention to communities of interest at the same time.
Yeah, I think, the 2 things on my mind were the VRA, trying to make sure that we were following the VRA, and also trying to make sure we had a politically fair map. Having the district stretch out, I think, to create that politically fair map, and it'll be interesting to see what we do now, and if it also, hopefully it creates a politically fair map, but we won't know until we try it. But I think, at least in my mind, those were the two main focuses. Really, there were three: the VRA, communities of interest, and political fairness. Like with District 7, for example, there were quite a few comments of folks wanting to combine Pontiac and Southfield together. At least that's what I remember. Pontiac is up at the top of the district, and Southfield is towards the south end of the district. Are there any more comments on that question? Well, I hope that helps, Commissioner Callahan, provide some context. So what do you say? Let's give this a shot. So I think we will go in alphabetical order, and I'll just start with A. So let's see. Commissioner Andrade, you are lucky number one.
Yeah, lucky number one. I'll tell you. I think starting the way you had suggested, taking out overlaying this one, taking out 1, 3, 6, 8, 10, and 11 would be a good place to start.
Okay, so what I would suggest to accomplish that is to create a copy of the Linden map and then delete those districts or unassign them, essentially. So
yes,
that's what I would do. And I heard some comment about the naming conventions, but for the moment, I would encourage us to continue with the naming convention. You can add something to it at any time you want, but giving the date and the version number is helpful in tracking the changes over time. So unless you strongly object or order me to do otherwise, I will start with today's date and version 1 Senate district.
One quick question, John. Does that allow you, when you name it, to put parentheses in there? So like we could just put Tuesday night or something so people can track it easier with the date? To do everything that you normally do, but just like,
Yeah, what I would normally do is the version is just literally the map that was worked on today. So for example, if you continue to work all day, all afternoon on one map, then it would just be version 1. If you say, let's stop working on that map, and a commissioner says, I want to create a completely new map, or start with the deleted districts and then move forward, we can roll back and then move forward. So we can probably put a parentheses or something like that if you like as well.
Thank you. Sorry.
Okay, and I'll have to check my own naming conventions in a second, see how close we got to that. Yeah, okay, pretty close. Okay, so then I'll open that plan. Okay, and I'm pretty sure there's a function where I can just delete an entire district. So give me a moment to look into that. All right, so for example, here's District 1, and if I click erase, it erases that one district. All right, so that's your intention, correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right, so then I'll do that for each of the enjoined districts. So 3, 6, 8, 10, and 11. Okay, and then it would be helpful to me to save this, not for purposes of editing this, but just as a template, so that if someone wants to say, let's go back and start at this point, that would be a starting point. So would that be agreeable?
Sure.
Okay. So first we save this edited plan. And I'm going to copy that. Okay, and that way I'll just refer to that if we need it. And then I'll go back to the plan we're working on, which is still open and active. Okay, so this will show you that those districts in the matrix are 0 population, and then at the bottom it should show you there's unassigned population equal to the amount we just unassigned.
Okay, and then I'm going to ask some of the, or any of the other commissioners, if they think there are other districts we should unassign to make this flow. So, for example, 7. I mean, my first idea here was to just take 10 and 11 and make 11 the top half and 10 the bottom, and then you would have those 2 districts. But, and I think we can do that without changing anything else at this point. But if anybody thought we needed to use some of the communities of interest that might go into 7 or 2, I'd be happy to make those changes as well.
I saw Commissioner Lett's hand first.
Commissioner Andrade, keep in mind that the first thing you have to consider is population.
Right.
So when you say you're going to make the top half and the bottom half, you can't do that. I mean, you can do it, but then you definitely are going to have to rearrange others in order to get your population up. So
right. And like 8 is contiguous with 10 and 11, so we can grab some from there as well, as is 3. I think by taking out that whole block, we've got a pretty good
Hang on here. Sorry about this. My mouse is fighting.
We don't want to redistrict all of the US of A, John.
No, that takes a little longer.
you may want to consider where you could pull some population from in the other areas that we're having to redistrict. If it looks like you could do that and then work around to the ones we're not having to redistrict. Just a thought, and I haven't really looked hard at it.
Yeah, so if we start with 11, which is the northernmost, and go down until we reach the population for what is probably going to be the new 11, we can start there.
Okay, Commissioner Orton has her hand raised, I think.
Yep, go ahead, Commissioner Orton.
Yeah, I was just raising my hand to answer when you said, should we erase any others or do anything with the other districts? I think we should just leave them like they are and touch them if we need to, but not erase them totally. But down by District 1, we're obviously going to have to do something, or it's going to look just like it looks right now. Because, you know.
Okay, so this is the area of the former District 1. So these are the towns, some of the River Rouge, Ecorse, Lincoln Park, Allen Park, Melvindale, and Taylor. Those are the towns outside of Detroit.
Yep, but for now, let's start up at what used to be 11.
Okay.
And
so I have the population of the entire township. So let me, I can also put the names on them here. One moment. Okay, so all of Macomb Township, including this portion in District 24, is 91,000 people. The target number for a Senate district is 265,193. So, you know, you could start by putting the balance of Macomb in this new District 11 if you wanted.
correct, that's what I'm going for.
Okay. So I will lock District 24, and actually let me change the color of District 24 if that's okay. It's kind of washed out with the unassigned. No, it's not that one. 1 second.
Commissioner Oren, did you have something to add?
No, sorry, I just forgot to put my hand down.
Okay, and I just locked 24 because, as you said, it's your intention not to take from 24 at this time.
Correct.
And so in this case, now that we're looking at the voting districts, probably don't need the name of the voting district. But you do have the population. Okay, so I would suggest go ahead and select by voting district, and then you said go ahead and take the rest of the township.
Correct.
All right. Okay, so the balance of Macomb Township is 73,000. So I'll assign that to District 11. All right, so if we go to the districts in the view, so now District 11 needs 191,000 people.
Okay, and keep going down. At least until, I guess, Metro Parkway, if you can see that going right across there.
Okay, so do you want to take from both Sterling Heights and Clinton Township, or
Yes.
to the Metro Park? Okay. Okay, and this precinct crosses the parkway. Is that okay for the moment?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, I'm locking District 12. Okay, so that's basically to Metro Parkway. And then this portion of Sterling Heights.
Correct.
Okay, and that's to Metro Parkway. Okay, so that's 2/3 of a district at this point. And
Okay.
let me change the color again, just so we have a better visual. Okay. So you still have a portion of Clinton Township and a portion of Sterling Heights, and then the next township is Fraser or City Fraser.
Yeah, if you could take the area surrounding Fraser and then, yeah, that area, and then keep going down to, what is that, 14 Mile, all the way to the next district. But don't take Fraser.
Okay, 1 second. Okay, so that's the balance of Clinton Township, and then Fraser and Roseville are the next ones down. So I'll assign that. Okay, so now you're 75% of a district, 69,000 people left. So you have some of Sterling Heights, Fraser, Roseville, and then Warren.
Take the area to the west of Fraser.
The balance of Sterling
Yeah.
Heights? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, that's 24,000 people. Sign that. Okay, so if you wanted to go into District 9, you could go into District 12, or you could continue with the unassigned areas of Warren, Fraser, and Roseville.
Yeah, let's now add Fraser into that.
Okay. $14,700 people. That's about 1/3 of what you need. So now you need 30,000. So you have Roseville, Warren, and East Point are the next municipalities on the way.
Okay, how about Roseville?
Okay. Okay, all of Roseville will be 47,000, so that would be more than you need. If you
Just-
want to split, you could split.
Right, along 696.
Okay. Okay, that's 18,000, and this will get 31,000. You need 29. And we'll remember that since there's a greater population in the Senate districts, your plus or minus margins will be greater. So a 2,000 deviance is fine usually. 1,400 is half a percentage point. So different numbers than we were using in the House.
Right, good. Okay. I'll let the next person go. If they want to continue with this map.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Andrade, for getting us started. I know it's not easy being first, and obviously all of this is pretty preliminary. We're getting our feet wet, but we will continue. All right, next on the list in alphabetical order is Commissioner Callahan.
Okay, I guess we'll just continue along with what Commissioner Andrade was doing. Why don't you take that area north of 8 Mile that's still unassigned and start what I guess would be District 10?
Okay, in Warren Township or East Point?
Yeah, start on the east there and go west.
Okay, so the balance of Roseville and East Point, north of the county line.
Yeah, let's see what happens. North of the county line, I guess.
All right, that's the balance of Roseville and East Point. So that's 50,000 into District 10.
Does anyone know of any reason to go south of 8 Mile there specifically to keep communities together? Otherwise, I'll just follow 8 Mile.
Well, I think East Point, could go either way. In the Motown sound map we created, East Point is paired with some areas below 8 Mile.
Okay, so maybe we can come back to that and take that out if when we go west, we have too much.
Okay, so you want to start taking part of Warren?
You've got all that area east of 75 there, right? You got Madison Heights, you got Warren.
West, east of 75.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
west, right.
East of 75.
East of
west
75 and
correct.
west of where you're drawing now.
Okay,
It's like a nice little square there, right?
yeah, that's Warren Township and Centerline there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so let's do this. I'm gonna change to the township view to give us a quick reference. So you need 214. If you took all of Warren and Centerline, you'd still need 60 some thousand.
So is that going all the way over to 75 coming down there?
Not yet. It's just this is just the population of all of Warren, and this is all of Centerline. So that's 140, almost 150. So and your deficit is 214. So you'd need 65 more. So
Okay.
take all of Warren and Centerline.
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. Let's see if this works. Maybe. No, it doesn't. Let's try one more time. There we go. All right, so that's 147, sign. All right, and then you have one precinct that's unassigned in Sterling Heights.
That seems rather odd.
That's the way the district is done, I guess.
So I mean, it has to be assigned somewhere, so we'll take it for now. Maybe we'll tweak it the edges later, but go ahead and put it in.
Okay. Okay, so then Madison Heights and then Hazel Park, depending on what you'd like to do. And then you'd be into Royal Oak, and it looks like there's more split townships up here too. And here's 75.
We'll go ahead and take over to 75 for Madison Heights.
Okay. Do you want to take only to 75?
Yeah,
The
I guess,
whole-
yes, yeah.
Okay, and then that takes you right up to 75, and then this is a portion of Madison Heights that's excluded at the moment.
We'll go ahead and take that last piece of Madison Heights.
Okay, so that's all Madison Heights. So we assign that 28,000. So now we need 34,000.
So
I'm just putting the population of the whole townships as a reference. So you have 15,000 in Hazel Park, and then Royal Oak as a whole is 58,000. And then let's see, Clawson is 12. And then this is a little precinct of what are we up here? Is that Sterling Heights?
well, I don't really want to go into Royal Oak.
Okay.
Because I can't really take all of it, right? So let's pick up some of those little pieces that are still hanging out there. Either at the top, yeah, like right there.
Okay. All right, and then do you want to go into Clawson? I think this is Royal Oak here.
Where's Clawson?
It's right here.
What's down below 696?
This is Hazel Park.
Okay. Yeah, let's go up into Clawson.
Okay. Okay, so that's Clawson municipality plus this extra precinct. That's 12,000. You'll cover about a third of what you need if you assign that. Yes.
I guess.
Okay. And then this is Royal Oak and this is Hazel Park. That would be the next area unless you want to adjust from District 9 or another district.
I don't know, guys. What do you think? What is this big jagged thing over here to the west? It's going out to just beside Beverly Hills.
This is Berkeley, I think. Birmingham.
Birmingham.
Yeah,
Oh, I
Berkeley and
see.
Birmingham.
Why is that carved out like that?
Is that how the lines of the city are?
So I'm going to select but not assign it. One moment. So that's the entire city. So yes.
And that's Birmingham?
This is Birmingham, yes. And then that's Royal Oak. And that's Hazel Park.
Commissioner Andrade, you see your hand?
Yeah, I was wondering if, I'm not as familiar with this mapping, but is it okay to make suggestions at this point?
Yeah, I guess what I would probably do is head north and take some of the stuff we've already put in from the south out and go more across. But Andrade, do you have a different suggestion?
Well, I was remembering some comments about that section of Detroit below 8 Mile that had more in common with the Warren area. So I was wondering if you could go into down south of the Wayne County line. Yeah.
Sure, let's try that.
Do you remember that when people were talking about some of those areas and communities of interest that went down that way?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, okay.
Commissioner Lett, do you also have something to add?
I was just gonna comment for Commissioner Andrade that, yes, that anytime you have something to add, feel free. This is collaborative mapping. Everybody can voice their opinion. Hopefully we do it in a reasonable manner.
So instead of going further west, we take some of that off and head a little south to pick up some of the communities that are down below East Point
Okay, so
and Warren.
do you want to take out Clausen or leave it in for
Yeah.
now?
No,
Take out-
let's see. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so if I do the undo button, we'll see if it does what we want. And there it does. So you have this dangling precinct, if you will, still unassigned. But all of Clausen is out. And then you have Madison is all in.
So we'll worry about that dangling precinct later. Let's go down below East Point.
Okay,
And,
do you want neighborhoods as a reference or not at this time?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna put the one that says neighborhoods in. And then I'm also gonna put the one that says current neighborhoods. If anyone remembers which one we were using, if not, I can take a look at the house map and figure that out in a moment. Yeah, it looks like there's a minor difference in one area. So for the moment, I think we can use either one of these and I'll figure out which one we used in the house. Is that agreeable for the moment?
Sounds good. And so make
Yes.
sure that eventually we get the one that was used in the house for consistency.
Yep. They're the same in this area. Do you want the names of the neighborhoods on as well?
It would help me.
All right, 1 second. Okay. So these are the neighborhoods in Detroit. And we can also reference roads if you need them.
Okay. Can you move that little asterisk matrix thing? That's better. Okay. Elaine, do you have a suggestion for which ones to put in here? Regent Park, Michigan Regent, and south from there? Pulaski, I don't know these neighborhoods. Maple Ridge. Anybody?
You're adding them to 10? Is that what you're doing? Or you-
Yes.
So this is Commissioner Curry, this is 7 Mile right here, I believe, as a reference.
Okay, and this one here would be 8 Mile, the one above, is that 8
Correct.
Mile?
That's correct.
Oh, okay, well, I think this whole entire area, well, let me see. Yeah, really need my glasses on, but
Here, I'll zoom in a little bit if that helps. One moment. There. So these are the areas between 8 and 7 mile.
Should we
have-
take that whole mile block, Juanita?
let's see how it looks when you take it. Let's see what it looks.
Okay. Yeah, let's take that whole mile block across.
Okay. All right, so you can see Franklin is going to cross that. You can split Franklin or you can keep it together, presumably in 10. These are very
Okay.
small populations, 1,000 people here.
And Franklin is already split due to, what is that street? 8 mile? Isn't that
This-
8 mile? That's
7
split?
mile?
Yeah, this is 7 right here.
Oh, that's 7 mile. You want to split it?
Let's split it for now. We'll come back. So let's just take
Yeah.
stuff above 7 mile and then see where we are. We
Okay.
can tweak from there.
Okay, so starting with Regent Park.
Monica and Pulaski, Connor Creek.
Yeah.
Nortown, Sherwood.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna assign this and then come back and either take out or add in.
Can't you add in Franklin? When you add in that,
Yes, I can add
Mhm.
all of Franklin, or I can just split it at 7 mile here.
what you think? Just splitting it right now?
Let's just split it for now, but yeah.
Okay, so let me assign this section that's south of 7 mile.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the little titty big. Let's get it within close, and we'll come back and tour it with the little 500 people places.
Sure. Okay, so then Sherwood and Nortown.
Yes, please.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, and then you're gonna have Mount Olivet here. If I click this precinct, it'll take all of that. So we'll hold off on that for the moment.
Okay.
And then you want Farwell.
How many?
Yes.
How many?
Are
what's
we
the
already?
population?
Oh, we're still short a little bit. Yes.
Yeah.
Orwell.
Okay. That'll get you pretty close.
You can't take that 1282 down there to add with that, or what you want to add that? With that, what would that population?
Sure. I can do that.
Well, that's a, Donna wants it.
That's fine. No, please. I think that's great. That's perfect.
Okay.
Okay, and then do you want to complete Farwell with these 6 census?
Yes, please.
Okay, and then shall I take out this Pershing portion?
Where are we on population now?
We're under by 570, and we have a few jagged edges, like the balance of Nortown, and a few that are below 7 miles here.
I think you ought to take out that Pershing part.
Yeah, and put in the Nortown part.
Okay. Okay, so Franklin is a split. It has a little below 7 mile. And then Von Steuben has a little included and a little of Mount Hope. Do you want to take that
Don't you
out?
think we ought to take that out? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the
Yes.
Clip hangers, yeah, we'll take that out.
Okay, so you're 0.31 underpopulated. And it's minus 809. Oh, it didn't do that one. Let me work on that. Sorry. It doesn't let me use the select box. I have to do it individually. Normally we've built all the districts, so we're just going from one district to another, but in this case, we're still unassigned. And the program prefers doing things this way. All right, save plan. So now we're actually 1,500 under.
Is that within, okay?
Oh yeah, that's 0.59 underpopulated. So yeah.
Okay. Can you back it out just a little bit so I can see the whole thing?
Yep.
Okay, I'll leave that at that for now. And let someone else take a turn. Thank you, Commissioners Curry and Andrade, for helping. That was great.
Yeah, turned out good.
Agreed. Okay, next up to draw is Commissioner Curry.
Okay, I need to see some familiar streets, John.
Sure. What part of Detroit do you want to start with, or do you want to work outside of Detroit?
Well, we're headed towards south, right? They want us to pull it down towards south. Is that the what they're asking us to do? Bring it out of the north and pull it down? More or less, right? Is that what we're doing?
Well, you have all of this area that's clear,
Yeah,
unassigned.
okay.
So you could do whatever you want. You could do like a east side of Detroit. It's what you're looking at now.
I
Or you
like
could-
to do the southwest part of Detroit.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to turn off the neighborhoods for just a moment so you can get your bearings.
Okay.
So this is the extreme southwest here. There's Melvindale,
Mm-hmm.
4th Street, I-75.
I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, I understand. Jefferson Ave.
What's above that? What's above that? Okay.
Here's Corktown. Southwest Detroit.
Okay, let's see where who's that, Donna, where she stopped at? I want to bring it on down from there.
Okay. All right, so all this area that's not filled in is available and not in a district.
Okay,
So outside of Detroit, you've got the little towns, Melvindale, Allen Park, Lincoln Park, Ecorse, River Rouge, and Taylor.
mm-hmm.
If you want to mess with those or if you don't.
I do kind of want to mess with those because they tend to need to be together. Let's kind of keep those together.
Okay, so you could include Taylor in that. That would look a lot like the district that we deleted if you took all of Taylor.
Don't put Taylor in yet. Just
Okay.
hold out on that and do Melvindale and River Rouge and Ecorse and Lincoln Park, and let's head towards the
Okay.
let's
All right.
start.
All right. And do you want to call this District 1?
Okay, I have no idea what I want to call it. Any
Okay.
suggestions? Anybody?
I think one's fine for now.
It could be one for now.
Okay. All right. So we'll start. So I'm going to click on the whole township so we can see how much population that is. And then if
Okay.
you want to assign it, we'll assign it.
Okay.
Right. So here's Melvindale, or will be in a moment. Melvindale is about 13,000. Lincoln Park is 40,000.
And how many are we going to compact in that area?
Well, we need a total of 265,000 for a Senate district.
Okay.
And let's see, River Rouge is 7,200, Ecorse is 9,300. So this area is 70,000. So let's see, that's a little less than a third of a district.
Okay, let's add in
Okay, so I'll assign those. So that'll happen. Sign selected. Okay, so there you go. So you have Allen Park. You said don't take Taylor for now.
Right.
So if you want some of Allen Park or all of Allen Park, you could
let's
do
try
that.
all of Allen Park.
Okay. All right, so if we do that, it's going to take a little bit away from District 2, but then it would be together. Or I could take only the portion that's.
No, you can leave them together. Leave them together. That'll be fine.
Okay.
Now, what's this area between River Rouge and Melvindale? What is that?
This is Detroit.
Okay.
So Fort Street, Electric.
Okay. Can you add that part?
Sure.
Okay.
Do you want to put the neighborhoods on or just go like we're doing
I know the
streets?
neighborhoods right there, so you don't have to put them on.
Okay. Okay, so that's just 6,000 people, so we'll put that in.
How many more do we need?
Quite a bit, 160,000.
Okay, maybe
So
keep
you go
going up.
quite
Yep.
a ways here.
Okay, let's go up in there.
Okay. Okay, that's about 8,000 people. Now this area here is Detroit. It's currently in District 2.
Can we take that and put it with Detroit?
Sure.
Okay.
Do you want to go up as far as this? This will be the portion that's in Detroit, not in Dearborn.
Okay. And what's this area? Where's this West Jefferson Ave?
Okay, that was the West Riverfront is what it says here.
Mm-hmm.
That's very, very low population. And then north of that, it's Mexican town is right here.
Okay, I kind of thought that was a low population because of the water and everything.
Right.
You're familiar with it. It's Modos. What's it say? I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. I know he's familiar with Lincoln Park.
Commissioner Muldoon.
Meldo, yeah. You got any input on that?
Not particularly. I guess I just keep going up through that section where you're at and
Okay.
adding it in to get the
Okay, that's-
population up. It's
okay,
got a long
let's
ways
do
to go
that.
with it.
Yeah, let's go there then.
Okay. Okay,
And
I'm
we
gonna,
might as well get Corktown.
you said yes to Corktown?
Yeah,
Okay. All right, now this one, I'm gonna assign that. Okay, so that's about 60% of a district. I'm just gonna zoom out so you can see what you got. So you did not take Taylor. You took this section of Detroit. This road is, I'm missing my road reference, 10.
mm-hmm.
All right.
I'm trying to think, Modo, how do you pronounce your name?
Muldoon. I
Muldoon.
think I had to put Taylor into that, Juanita, because otherwise
That's
it's nowhere
That's
else.
what I was getting ready to say. We should put Taylor in, right?
Yeah, because there's nowhere else for it to go besides.
That'll be
kind of
fine.
movable.
Yeah, you would, if you didn't put it into one, you could put it into two. You've taken a little bit of population from two at this point. I think we said Taylor's about 60,000 people.
Okay.
So you could do all of Taylor if you want, or you could also look at this District 4 here for Taylor.
No, let's get all of Taylor.
All of Taylor, okay. I see.
Mr. Fink, I see your hand up.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. I think we're in evening now. I just wanted to make one overall comment because we're having this discussion about whether or not to include Taylor and which is a good discussion to have. But a broader comment, which is those of you who, hopefully all of you read the court's opinion approving of the House remedial map, the Motown Sound map. And one of the things that the court noted was the fact and analyzed was the level of change in the districts that you redrew, and they were approving of the fact that there were significant changes from the previous map from the Hickory to the Motown Sound. So I think that's just a consideration to keep in mind that a least change map, so to speak, is less ideal than one that does make noticeable changes relative to the previous map. So I just wanted to mention that as an overall comment. I know you're just getting started, but just wanted to mention that.
Okay, thank you, Attorney Fink. But that other
Thank you,
map
Commissioner.
had not even crossed my mind while I'm doing this. But we'll add Taylor.
Yeah, so it's about 63,000 and you're down 100,000. So that'll cover a little over half of what you need.
Mm-hmm. Okay, where's Modo?
Commissioner Muldoon.
I'm here.
Okay, how is it looking?
I think we're looking all right. I mean,
Okay, so
if you wanted it, I forget how far Dearborn comes down into there. You can always go up a little bit and then because 2 can come up higher too, get room above it.
you have Dearborn Heights is here, and then Dearborn is here.
Okay, so you want to try it? Go up a
Yeah.
little bit. Okay, let's try that.
Okay, let me first put Taylor in. Now, there's a little piece of Taylor south in District 4 here. Do you want me to not take that and don't touch District 4 for the moment?
Well, take it. Take it and not touch District 4.
Okay. Okay, so as it stands now, this District 1 has all the towns plus Taylor, and then we're up to Route 10 here. And it needs 46,000 people. So you could take a portion of Dearborn, or you can continue into Detroit, or you could take a portion of Dearborn Heights, or
Let's
you could look
continue in
south.
Detroit. Let's continue in
Detroit.
Detroit. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, do you want to continue along the river? You already have Porktown, or do you want to go up this area here?
That area would look pretty decent. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so is that good for the moment?
So what do you guys think? Should it look okay? Commissioners?
I think so.
I think so, yes.
Okay.
Okay, now, since we have not put the neighborhoods on and we're just taking large areas, at some point you might consider putting the neighborhoods on to look at that.
Okay, you could. I'm very familiar with the neighborhoods. I don't know
Okay.
about Maudu or who else live in Lincoln Park? Anybody else? But I'm kind of familiar with the neighborhoods, so we're okay with that.
Okay, so do you want to take this Woodbridge area, or here's another area? Looks like it's Tire Man.
I'm trying to keep everything in a kind of a block board so it won't look too crazy. So what you think, Maudu? Should we go to that little area there? How many do we need, John?
Quite a bit. Need 38,000, and these are, 600, 700. So you'll need quite a bit more.
Okay, let's keep going. Let's take ooh, is that Tireman? Tireman area?
Okay.
Okay, and I can't see the
Commissioner Lang, I see your hand.
I'm just curious if it's possible to do like an outline of the previous districts, just like a red outline of where they were, just to have an idea of how we're working.
yeah.
That would be helpful for me.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see if I can do that. I'm not sure it's teed up. Let me see if it's in my selection or not. If it's not, it'll take a moment for me to dig that up. Okay, yeah, so it'll just take me a moment. If you want to do that now, I can. I don't know if anyone wants to take a break to let me load that, or if you want me to take the time and load it.
I need a break.
We've been going for about an hour and a half. I think we can entertain a motion for a 10-minute recess if anyone wants to make one.
So moved.
Second,
Okay, is there any discussion on the motion to take a 10-minute recess? All those in favor, please raise your hand and say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, we'll recess for 10 minutes and be back at 5:35 p.m.
Okay.
All right, let's start back up. Do we need a new roll call after recess?
You didn't technically go into recess, you just took a break, so you do not need a roll call unless the chair would like one.
No. Hello, Ms. Reinhardt. Nice to have you with us today.
Hi, happy to be here.
Yeah, let's just take one because the motion was for a recess.
Sure. Commissioners, please say present when I call your name and let us know if your location has changed from this morning's roll call. If it has, by stating your new location, city, state, township. I'll call on commissioners in alphabetical order, starting with Elaine Andrade.
Present.
Donna Callahan.
Present.
Juanita Curry.
Present.
Anthony Eid.
Present.
Brittany Kellum. Rhonda Lang.
Present.
Steve Lett.
Present.
Marcus Muldoon.
Present.
Cynthia Orton.
Present.
Rebecca Satella. I'll come back to Commissioner Satella. Janice Follett.
Present.
Aaron Wagner.
Present.
Richard Weiss.
Present.
Returning to Rebecca Satella.
Present.
Thank you. 12 commissioners are present and there is a quorum.
Thank you, Ms. Reinhardt. Okay, Commissioner Curry, you were taking your turn drawing and there was a request to put up the to overlay the lines of the Linden map. Mr. Morgan, were you able to pull that overlay up?
Yes, so before we put the overlay on, this is the current status of the new potential District 1. You need 33,000 more people to be a complete district. We've borrowed a little bit, or we've taken some population from District 2, so that's underpopulated by 24,000. And now I'll bring up the lines. And I've saved this, if we need to do this again sometime, we can do this.
Okay.
Okay, so the dark blue lines are the district boundaries of the Linden map. So the Linden District 1 follows this configuration and goes up into this area of Detroit. So this is fairly similar, however, you have not completed the District 1.
Now, John, the Linden map is the map that's in question that we should not use. Is that what it is?
Correct. And so you're looking to see how close this district is to those districts. That was my understanding of why you wanted, the request was made to look at this.
Absolutely, and that was a good request. Okay, maybe we should veer towards the right of, yeah, somewhere up
Okay.
here to fill out the rest of it.
So more towards downtown. Okay. So
Yeah.
I'll take the lines off if you like.
Okay.
Okay, so I believe this is the downtown area, and here's Midtown and Medical Center.
I'm just trying to see what would make, I hate to see such a crazy line drawn. I'm trying to keep it as neat and precise as if we can.
Well, you do have the major roads as a reference. So here's 75 coming into downtown as a reference.
Okay. Okay, Marcus, I think it's better if I pronounce your first name. What do you think? I know you're a Detroiter, just about. So what do you think?
Yeah, I think going up the riverside would be good. It'd be similar to what we did with the Senate.
Okay, let's try that. Suggestions. You got any suggestions? Which way? Just
I
go,
just continue east up the river.
okay.
Okay, so that represents about 14,000. So that's about half of what you need almost.
Okay, can we kind of fill in
Mhm.
to in the middle, yeah, right up in there somewhere?
Okay.
That should make it about that. Oh,
Belial in or not?
what you say, Belle Isle? Did you say Belle Isle?
Yeah, I don't know if you want that in.
Belle Isle, no, we don't really, I don't think we need Belle Isle because it's not a place where people live. It's just,
Okay.
it's just an island.
Well, it has to be in some district, so
Really?
yeah, it does.
Well,
Let's assign this first, and then you can
okay,
see if you want Belial in this or save it for another district.
okay.
So we need about 13,000 more people. You could go back to fill in
Let's
this.
go back to that area. Yeah, let's go in there, kind of keep it kind of midtown.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what about that little triangular S? What is that?
Cornerstone Estates, 5 people.
Okay,
Who knows what that's about?
who knows? So how many, what's the population now?
Okay, we're 11,000 under. So you could continue to fill in up here, or you could continue to follow the river.
Let's follow the river.
Okay. So the next one would be Belial.
Got it anyhow. Okay,
And now you're to West Village.
okay. So how does that look, Marcus?
That looks fine.
What kind of animal do that look like?
What about on the west side there to kind of keep it on the west side of one? They got a small enough area to get really need, you need 3,000.
Okay, let's try that. So you're saying take
The rest
on-
of Woodbridge?
that part.
Either that or even up on the far west side of it next to 2.
Yeah, let's see what that looks like.
Okay, so which do you prefer? More of West Village or Woodbridge over here?
What, way west. Keep going west over
Well,
to 2.
West Village, yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, that's east. Let's try that again. Okay, so way west, meaning Woodbridge?
Yeah, somewhere up in there.
Okay.
That or even where 1 and 2 meet, where there's that little dip down to kind of finish off that little spot.
Okay, so Woodbridge first, and then see what you like after that. Okay, so this takes you to 1,300 over.
I don't
I
like
could,
that. I don't like that little zigzag up there.
this one here, right?
Yeah, I don't like that near
Okay.
875. Do you
All
like
right.
that, Marcus?
No, I was like I said, I was thinking over to the west where it's like 700 people, 600 people, 700 people would
Yeah.
get, that 14, that right there would give you almost what you need. And then we can
Yeah,
add in
let's take
2.
that and move the other, take the other off. that 895 area and 404 and move it. And that's get over here to the left.
Okay, let's try that.
Okay.
So I'm gonna undo that Woodbridge area and then just go this area here.
Mhm.
Okay, so that is 3 precincts. That's about exactly what you need, and then see if you want to take more or not.
That's exactly what we need.
Yes, it
Can't go
is.
wrong.
And then we can always fix right there in that same spot, to bring 2 back to where it needed to be.
Okay.
For the record, those precincts that were added, was that Detroit?
Yes. So you could work on District 2, or you could pass the baton.
Well, did we need any more for,
Not for 1.
okay. Well,
I-
I'll pass the baton to someone else and maybe they want to work on 2.
Okay, and then just to be clear on one point, there are some unpopulated water blocks that we probably would need to take into 1. They have no population.
Okay.
That's something I can do if you'd like me to later, or
You could do it. You could do it even now if you want.
okay, sure. Let me work on that.
Because there's no population, so it doesn't really matter, you know?
Yeah, there's one, it looks like there's 8 people probably on a boat or something. Who knows?
On a boat.
Okay, so we'll add these into 1. Now, it won't let me take Canada.
Of course not.
Okay, so let's see what we have here. Okay, so that's all of 8 people. I think, no, that's 0 people. Okay, so we sign that. Okay,
All right, and we can, I'll pass it.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Curry. Okay, let's see. Next up in alphabetical order would be myself. So how are we doing on time? We got about an hour left, but we do have some other business to conduct, but I think we got time for 1 or 2 more. Can we zoom out a little bit? Let's see what's left.
okay, so you have the Birmingham Royal Oak area, you have part of Farmington Hills and Livonia, and Redford, and then you have Detroit and the internal towns and Tramwick and Highland Park.
Okay, I like what we're doing. What I'm trying to figure out is how many other districts we're going to need to change, in addition to the 6 that we have to change. I think doing what we're doing now, trying to leave the other districts untouched while we try to figure out what is reasonable to change is a good way to go. And I think that worked out well for the house maps. I do think eventually we might need to change probably 2, 7, and 9. But I think for now, I'll continue on with this map. And let's start in the Birmingham area.
A question, Sheriff.
Commissioner Curry, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, my question is, before we couldn't go into any of the other districts, right? On the other maps, but we can, if like they want us to stick to 1, 3, 6, 8, 10, and 11. So if you go outside of that, would they kind of put the flag up on us or what?
Mr. Fink, I think you can answer that question.
Sure. Yeah. So, we had Commissioner Curry. That's a good question. We had, discussed this during the redraw of the House maps. The court's order says that that the commission can make adjustments, modifications to other districts that were not struck down, as is reasonably necessary in order to comply with the court's order to redraw the districts that have been identified. So you can go into and redraw in the other districts. And as you saw through the House redraw plan process, it was pretty much impossible, I think, to prepare to create a map that satisfies all of your criteria, all the constitutional criteria, complies with the court's order, and doesn't in some way go into some of these other districts. I know you attempted that with a couple of the maps that were sent out, at least one of the maps that was sent out for public review for the House process, but ultimately that wasn't one that was, I think, that well received by the public. And so that was sort of a long way to say, yes, you can go into other districts as is reasonably necessary to redraw the districts that the court struck down.
Okay, thank you, Attorney Fink. Chairman Eid, I'm looking at this little piece that's hanging over Windsor. Is that Windsor? And I'm wondering, can we just take that whole little, what is that, like what do you think, Marcus, and take it up to the west a little towards the west instead of leaving it kind of hanging over like that? What do you think? I don't really like how it looks.
What part are you talking about, Commissioner Curry? I'm not seeing it.
What?
I think she's talking about where it goes over Belle Isle.
Yeah. I'm talking about that looked like a hand, the whole little hand. If we could take that, I'm trying to think, should I take it to the left and keep it more neater?
Or you could take Belle Isle out and leave it for the district that's going to come there up against the Grosse Pointes. I mean, it's no population, so I don't think it affects your population count. It just affects the shape.
Yeah, and I'm trying to get the shape looking a little bit better. I like it more in the block figure instead of that hand laying over there like that. Look like we can kind of keep it to the left of Detroit.
So you want to remove the Belle Isle from one?
I'd like to see what it would look like.
Yeah, you can go ahead and do that. You just drew it, so go ahead, finish it up.
Thank you.
And then Anthony, after that, it looks like if there's only three districts left, if we're not changing a lot of other surrounding districts, and there's not really much choice about where you draw them, it's just the boundaries, right? Right at the edges.
I think that's what we're going to find out.
Yeah.
I think we're still in the very preliminary stages of this. I like I said, my big struggle here is figuring out just how many we need to change to make reasonably necessary. And I think what we're doing now is a good experiment to help figure that out. But we'll get there. There are
Agreed.
3 more left. So we'll keep going through the list and finish this map and assess and go from there.
So for what it's worth, and I don't know if this matters a lot, but the voting precinct that contains Belle Isle is right here. There's the bridge crossing over. So this portion is the voting precinct.
We need that, right?
You don't have to, but it would be a little, I don't know, it might seem a little odd to have Belle Isle connect to some other place without the bridge. I don't think that matters a great deal, but it's just something to think about.
Well, just since we're thinking about it, and this isn't the final, let's just kind of leave it like it is. Go and see, maybe.
Okay.
So
Okay, so we'll leave it like that, and then if you want to adjust it later, you can adjust it.
Okay, Thank you.
All right, Mr. Fink, did you have something else to add?
Sorry, no, I just had left my hand up. Sorry about that.
No worries. Okay, well, let's go up into the Birmingham area. And let's assign, so we did change what is now in blue District 10. I believe Commissioner Callahan did that earlier. So we have this area of Birmingham, Royal Oak, Oak Park, Berkeley. Let's assign all of that to a District
Yeah.
8.
8, okay.
You could start with Birmingham and Royal Oak.
Okay, let's see. Okay, so that's the municipal boundary. And then that's Royal Oak. And do you want Clawson?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll start with those whole communities, and then this is Berkeley.
Mm-hmm. And you can put in also that little square that's those 3 precincts.
Okay. Will you be wanting Hazel Park probably?
Hazel Park, Oak Park, Royal Oak Township, Huntington Woods.
Okay.
Kind of interestingly, this is almost like combining a couple districts from the house map. So that's interesting.
Well, you don't have the added pressure of having to nest your districts. In some states, the state assembly districts have to fit into state senate districts.
They do it Lego style, huh? You have to fit the House into the Senate.
Yes.
Interesting.
Wisconsin is a state that does that.
Wisconsin's got a lot of problems. I think we know that.
Well, it's nearby Midwestern. Okay, so assigning that. Okay, so that accounts for 70% of the district.
Okay, now let's see. Could you put up that overlay one more time from the Linden map?
All right.
Yeah, this is what makes me think we're probably going to have to look at changing 7 in the future, but let's continue with this. Let's go. Well, I mean, the only direction to go is south.
Unless you want to change 7 or 10, as you said.
What's an INT?
You know, what would actually happen if we added, Commissioner Callahan, you drew 10.
You can change it. I'm not wedded to it.
What if you put the Madison Heights portion in 8 and went more south on 10?
South with 10. That's fine. That makes sense.
So Commissioner Ede, it sounds like you would work on 8 first and then adjust 10.
Yeah, let's add the Madison Heights portion of 10
Okay.
to 8.
Do you want to take off the Linden reference?
Yeah, you can take it off.
Okay, so Madison Heights in.
Yes.
Okay. So all of Warren is 140. So you clearly won't need all of Warren. You could go into Warren. You could go south.
I kind of like that how it is now because it divides, the counties pretty evenly at least. Let's go south. And what I'm thinking is we had areas in the house map that crossed in this area. Like, for example, we put Palmer Park with like Ferndale. Is there any way to overlay the Motown Sound map on top of this?
Yes.
Or you could just use the neighborhoods. That works too.
Okay. You were talking about Palmer Park,
Yeah, I'm thinking about those
Palmer Woods.
Palmer
Palmer
Woods,
Park.
Palmer Park, and then the areas west of that as well. Bagley. Let's add those and see where we're at.
Okay. You want to follow the neighborhood boundaries generally.
Yes.
I will select by voting precinct, but then we can adjust to the neighborhoods.
Sounds good.
All right, so you wanted Palmer Woods and Palmer Park. Okay, so that's 5,500 people and we're looking for 50,000. So you wanted Bagley. Okay, that's half of what you need. So I'll assign that now.
Yeah, you can assign that to 8.
Okay. So you could,
And then let's take that next block of neighborhoods, Nolan down to Cadillac Heights, State Fair on the right.
on the right of it. Got it. Okay, up to Butler and Pershing.
I'd say actually stay west of that. See that like diagonal line that's going through. Yeah, take the neighborhoods to the west of that and include it in.
Okay, we might have to adjust this. No, that's good.
Okay, and we need another 10,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
Those neighborhoods west of Bagley. Yeah, Schultz, Blackstone, Pembroke.
Okay.
I'd probably say take out Schultz out of there and add in the rest of Schaefer Lodge. So I want to assign it first. However you're going to do it.
Yeah, I'll do it this way. And just do it. That. And that. Okay. And then we'll take out these portions of Schultz.
Yes. All right, that puts us where we need for 8. And then how many did we take out of 10 in order to make that happen?
30,000.
30,000. All right, so go over there. Let's add in Butler and Pershing to 10.
Okay.
Okay, so let's continue to take those neighborhoods that are directly south until we reach population, but let's try to stay above airport sub. So we're looking at Grant, Mount Oliver, Davison,
Okay.
that whole kind of strip.
Okay, and then we'll see if you want to go towards this section.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Let's hold off on that for now.
Yeah, not a lot of population here. Okay, you want Davison, sorry.
Yeah, that's about 700 people.
Yeah, we still need
Still
13,000.
left. All right, well, we just have to keep going. Now we can go east.
All right, do you want the rest of Davidson?
Yeah, sorry, you can add Davison, and then you can move to Franklin after that on the east side. All right, what if you add Maple Ridge to that?
Okay, let's get the population estimates, so. 4,500.
Okay, let's do that. I believe that'll put us within the variance.
Yep, under, but still there.
All right, it's good enough for now. Let's zoom out. Let's see what is left for the next person.
Okay, 2 is still unadjusted. Or sorry, 2 still needs to be adjusted rather. And all districts. So 2 more districts plus resolve 2.
Yeah, so I'll let the next person do that, as well as the unresolved areas. But can you take off the overlay so we could just see 8 and 10, how they look now?
Yep, working on it.
All right, those look okay to me. I don't want to stress again, it's very preliminary, but I think for now, that's all right.
Looks good.
Okay, 6:15 on my clock.
It is 6:15, and we do have more business to take care of.
So 2 districts and a fraction remaining to.
Next up on the order list would be Brittany Cullum. She is not here, and Rhonda Lang. We could either move on to the rest of the business, or Rhonda, you could take your turn if you would like. Commissioner Lett.
Hey, can we put the Linden overlay on just to see what we've done?
Okay. So you might, if you can see that this would be a whole district. And then this would presumably be another district.
So is that one district to the west unchanged?
Well, it's not a district now, it's unassigned, but if you
Right.
did not touch the other districts, this is how much population it would take if you started and followed the same boundary, and you'd end up with the same district.
Okay.
But you don't have to. You could draw, south into Westland, or you could draw into Southfield. You have other.
Thank you.
Am I good to start?
Go ahead.
Okay, John, first thing I want to do is I want to make Livonia whole. So
Okay.
take in all of Livonia.
Okay, so would this be District 6 or District 3?
Let's go 6.
6, all right. So we'll take all of Livonia into a new District 3. Sorry, new District 6. Okay, that's 95,000 people.
Okay, and take the above by Farmington Hills that's not assigned.
Okay.
And while he's doing that, the reason I'm doing that is because we had a ton of public comment saying that Livonia was a community of interest. And it was split up the last time because we were stretching districts out. So since we had so much public comment requesting it, I'm going to draw it that way.
Okay, assigning that. Okay, so you are 60% of a district at that point. You have Redford, Westland, Garden City, and other districts. You've affected District 5.
Correct. Let's pull in the Redford area.
All of Redford, or
Leave some, go more north. So that way we have some room to play if we need to make adjustments to 5, since I took some of 5's population and see what we can do.
okay. So up here to the interstate, is that a good
Yes,
place
that
to
would be
split for the
perfect.
moment? Okay. Okay, now I took a little more here. Let me undo that. All right. Clear. And at this point, you only want Redford, right?
Correct.
Okay, and that precinct goes over the interstate.
Okay, finish filling it in. They can look from other areas for the makeup.
Okay, let me, if you don't mind, let me change the color between 6 and 2. They're the same color.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the balance of Redford.
Yes, please.
Okay, so that leaves you 59,000 off
Keep moving east towards the north.
up here.
Yes, please.
Okay, do you want the Detroit neighborhoods on or not necessarily?
Not necessary.
Okay. Do you want to take from 7 or do not touch 7?
Let me see my notes. Follow that whole line down. So move to the south and fill in that whole one there. Correct.
So this is west of Telegraph Road.
Okay,
Okay, so is that okay to cross there?
that's fine.
Okay.
This is preliminary anyways.
Okay, this area, or you said stay to the north?
Correct.
And then this portion here,
Correct.
all right. This is a split voting precinct, so I'll assign it by block.
You said it's a split voting, so basically they broke up a precinct.
Yeah, that happens some of the times in these maps.
Is
You
there a
can-
way to add in the whole precinct?
Of course, that would, for what it's worth, that would be a boundary change to District 7, which hasn't, this would be the first time that District 7 has been changed.
Okay, add that whole voting precinct.
Okay. Okay, District 7, while it changed, is still within the tolerance.
Okay.
Okay, and then this is where you are. You're in this far, I guess, northwest portion of Detroit. Along
Okay.
Telegraph.
I want to try and keep it squared up. So let's move to the south.
Here.
Yes, please.
Okay.
And if I'm splitting up anything of significance that anybody knows of that's from the area, feel free to let me know.
You could put the neighborhoods on if you wanted a reference.
I'm not as familiar with the neighborhoods as some that are from the area, so.
Okay.
That's why I said that.
All right, so take this or don't take this.
Yes, please.
Okay, so let's see. So 6 is the one we're working on, 40,000 more people necessary. Just going back to 5, 27,000 down. And then 2 is down 24,000.
Okay. So I just foobarred that, didn't I?
Well, it'll just have to make some adjustments.
Okay, let's keep working our way over then, and
This direction.
yes, please.
Okay.
Well, actually, yeah, I don't want to go into too many more. Oh,
I think you can finish 6 by going east, and we'll work on completing 5 and 2 tomorrow.
okay.
3. Okay. All right.
Let's-
So
What's the population we need? 40?
yeah.
Okay, let's try and keep it squared up and get to that 40. So if that line there, correct.
Okay.
All the way over if that's enough population.
It won't be, but it'll be close.
It'll be close. Okay.
35. And then I took looks like I took a little piece of 7, which I can unadjust if we need to.
Go ahead for the moment.
Okay, should I put that back in 7? Sorry, you're breaking up.
Oh, that wasn't me, I don't think.
Okay.
Yeah, put it back in 7.
Okay. Okay, so you are within tolerance on 6. It is on the low side, but it's complete as it is.
Why don't we leave it like that so it leaves more area to make corrections or adjustments?
All right, hang on, my computer is slowing me down. Come on, come back. Uh-oh. Okay, let me get a good look at this in case I have to recreate it, which I can do if the computer crashes completely here.
You know, if the computer crashes now, I picked a good time because we got to move on to our other business. But yes, please take a look so you can recreate this.
Okay.
And you know, you can recreate it and save it, and we will pick back up here with mapping tomorrow.
All right. Let me try. I think I'm okay. All right, so the plan is okay. I was able to save it, and I'll stop my share, and we're good.
Cool. Thank you, Mr. Morgan. We appreciate it.
All
And
right.
thank you, Commissioner Lang, for your drawing. We will now move on to the next item on the agenda, which are items for consideration. We first have item 7A, Institute for Public Policy and Social Research. Without objection, I will ask MICRC Executive Director Woods to facilitate this item. Is there any objection? Seeing none, Mr. Woods, you have the floor. But you are muted.
Thank
There
you,
go.
Commissioner Ede. This agenda item came at the request of Commissioner Weiss with regards to the map that was submitted by Michigan State University. When I spoke to our Voting Rights Act counsel, he suggested that we submit that map for analysis. When we submit the other maps for analysis, Mr. Brace has also asked for them to provide shape files, so I'll request that as well. But just wanted to acknowledge the map, acknowledge Commissioner Weiss' request, and let the commission know that it will be a part of the analysis when the other maps are submitted. Commissioner Weiss, did you have any questions or anything else you wanted to add?
Not at this time. Thank you.
That's all I have, Commissioner Ede.
Are there any questions or discussion on that map? Well, it did come to all of us. I recommend that everybody take a look at it. To at least get some information on how to do this in the future, and we will go from there. Okay, we will now move on to the next item of business. Items for consideration, 7B, Commissioner Application. Without objection, I will once again ask MICRC Executive Director Woods to facilitate this item. Is there any objection? Hearing none, go ahead, Mr. Woods.
Thank you, Commissioner Ede. This item came about at the request of Commissioner Curry, as well as Commissioner Weiss. And this is the commissioner application page that they were referencing. And so without further ado, I will turn it over to them for comment.
Should I go first?
Is there comment? Commissioner Curry, Commissioner Weiss?
Yes, since Commissioner Curry had brought this up before I did, if she would like to go first, that would be fine with me.
Okay, one of the things I spoke of during one of our meetings when I said that we were talking about the amount of money we were getting paid, and I think I made a suggestion that we were getting 40, that the application said between 40 or 45,000. Well, when I looked at my application, when I finally found it, it did say around 40,000. So I want to make that correction because I am not getting that amount. I'm getting much lower. So that's another thing that we have to take up.
Okay, we could take that up with payroll and make sure you're getting, the full pay that everybody else is getting. Executive Director Woods, can you please look into that issue?
Absolutely. Thank you.
That would be wonderful. Is there any other discussion about this agenda item?
I have a couple of questions on that if Commissioner Curry is done.
Yes, I'm kind of done for now.
Thank you. I had brought this up to Executive Director Woods here about a week or so ago, because the question had come up to me when Miss Julianne Pastula was our counsel about commissioners filling out their forms or applications. And I asked Ms. Pastula what the consequences were of filling out an application and then not fulfilling what you've answered on the application. So I'm assuming that this may be something for the Michigan State Department to answer that question. If you have answered a question on here that you would fulfill this duty, you put yes, but you do not do it, what are the ramifications for not doing that?
I see Commissioner Lang's hand is raised, but if I may briefly, that would be a really great question for Mike Brady. I know that I believe you had reached out to him to ask a similar question, and he had intended to be able to answer that question for you, Commissioner Weiss. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here tonight, but I will take that to him and bring back an answer. Well, myself or another MDOS staff person will bring back the answer at a future meeting.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Thank you, Ms. Reinhardt. And yes, if you could get that answer to Commissioner Weiss, that would be good. Commissioner Lang?
Yeah, just two things. For clarification, you said the amount to pay that all of the commissioners are getting. I am taking the 25%. So I want the public to know that I am not receiving the raise that was given.
I'm not even talking about the raise.
Well, I know, but it was in a statement that Commissioner Ede made about all of us getting the same amount. So I just wanted clarification. And then I have a question on the application also. I'm kind of curious if there's anything specific that's being directed to. I mean, I can understand some of it about your affiliation, the pay. Of course, when we filled these out too, nobody knew that there would be COVID and laws would be changed. So I'm just curious if there's, or if somebody feels there's an issue, what that issue is. And maybe somebody can enlighten me.
I'm not understanding what you're saying.
Well, to bring up this application, there must be some thoughts that somebody has violated the application, because you're asking, what are the ramifications or what have you, not necessarily you in particular, Juanita, I'm saying in general. So I'm just curious if somebody does believe there's an issue, what the issue is.
Well, shouldn't we just leave it for the person involved, for Mike Brady to answer that, go over all of the questions, and then all of us can have a better understanding. Because I don't think any of us is able to answer any of those questions. We're not the ones that did the hiring. We're the ones that got hired.
But it was stated that somebody came to Commissioner Weiss
Well,
about.
it came up for one because I asked about the pay.
Okay.
And I want to prove that what I said was not a lie or a misspoken word or anything, that it did say around 40 or 45,000, and I'm not getting that. So that's one of my questions that I had.
Okay, but Commissioner Weiss stated something else, so I'm just curious, which particular one does somebody think is an issue?
I think we
One
gotta
one
go
moment,
with,
folks, one moment. Let me jump in. Let's do one person at a time. Please make sure you're acknowledged by the chair to have the floor. Thank you for your clarification on the pay point, Commissioner Lang and Commissioner Curry. I think we've gone over your request as well. Commissioner Weiss, I see your hand is raised.
That is correct.
Go
So
ahead.
I'm assuming you would like to know my concern. Well, as I said, my most concern now is what are the ramifications if you've answered a question and now it's not fulfilled? That came up quite a while ago, and it came up again here recently to me that I was asked a question about one of the questions on here on the application. And I said, I can't answer it because I don't know the answer to the question. I don't know why this is happening. And I says, I'll see if I can get to an answer. So I did reach out to Mr. Brady, and I thought I would let him answer the question so everybody can hear this. And I do believe, I tried to look for it, but a state representative in the House mentioned also one of the questions on this application, and he wanted to know why. And as I said, I'd like an answer myself, so I can ask, when this comes up again, I can answer the individual who asked me this. So I think if we wait till Mr. Brady can answer that question, what are ramifications for not doing what you've answered on a application? Does that answer your question, Ms. Lane?
Not completely. It's very vague. And if there's something that's an issue that's enough to bring it up on an agenda item, I would like to know. I mean, you say so Mike Brady can bring it forth, but shouldn't we all be in the know of what the question is or what the state representative made comment to?
Well, I would agree with you, but I'm trying to be vague. So if Mr. Brady answers my question about that question that I asked him, if he says, well, there's not a problem here, or it sounds like there's no consequences for any of these. If you answer yes, and then you don't fulfill it, there doesn't seem to be a consequence to it. Unless there's something missing here that, we don't know as commissioner, as an individual. I can't answer that. That's why I asked him first. And depending on what he says, I'd be more than happy to either drop my question on this or go into it a little farther.
Commissioner Zatella, I see your hand raised.
Yeah, I guess I'm just curious why you didn't just approach Mr. Brady directly if you had a concern, because what's happened instead is you've thrown a little bit of shade on everybody by suggesting that somebody is in violation and you're just not sure if you can do anything about it, which is impugning the reputations of everybody on the commission. So I'm just curious as to why handle it this way rather than just handling it privately, resolving your question, and then bringing it further.
Well, obviously you didn't listen, because I said I did reach out to Mr. Brady and I talked to him. I asked him if he could call me, which he did. And I said, okay, I assumed he might have been at the meeting, but things happened. He couldn't be here today, so that's fine. As I said, I just like an answer. And if the question, once I get my answer from him, then I'll be more specific on the question.
I think that's fair.
Okay, well, is there any other discussion on this topic? Commissioner Lang?
Yeah, I'm just gonna make one last comment. Because I have concerns, because there were conversations that were had in a meeting regarding 3 of us, and I'm kind of starting to have concerns that there's a lot of retaliation and looking for retaliation. And I'll let it play out, but I just want to put that out there because the comments that were made in a private setting that had nothing to do with legal they've weighed on me quite a bit too. So I almost feel like some, and I'm not going to put everybody in the same basket, but I think there's definitely some retaliation going. And I'm going to leave it at that.
Thank you, Commissioner Lang. Commissioner Weiss, before you go, I just want to remind you, please speak through the chair.
Thank you. I'm not looking for retaliation. I'm looking for an answer to a question that I had been asked a couple of times and that I had asked, and I never really got an answer. And I actually didn't really get the answer, or I thought I didn't get an answer from Mr. Brady, but he said he was going to look into it, I believe. So that's why I thought I would ask this question and wait for him to come with an explanation.
All right. I hope you get the answer to that question and we can move on. We will now be moving on to the next item on the agenda, approval of the minutes. We will be approving 22 minutes from January 4th to April 11th. These draft minutes have been provided to the commission before this meeting and are posted on the website. I will now entertain a motion regarding this topic, if anyone has one.
I'll move that we approve the minutes that were sent to us from those dates that you said.
Those dates were January 4th to April 11th. Is there a second to Commissioner Orton's motion to adopt the minutes?
I'll second it.
We have a motion by Commissioner Orton and seconded by Commissioner Muldoon to approve the minutes from January 4th to April 11th. Is there any discussion about the minutes? I see no hands, so we will move to a vote. All those in favor to adopt the minutes, please raise your hand and say aye.
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 Are there any opposed? The ayes have it. We will now move on to the Executive Director's report. Without objection, I ask MICRC Executive Director Woods to provide his report. Is there any objection? All right, please proceed, Mr. Woods.
Thank you, Commissioner Eid. Just want to let the commission know we have our flyer out as it relates to public hearings. As you know, we'll have 2 rounds of public hearings. The first one will deal with how residents in the Southeast Michigan area can assist the commission in drawing the maps. And the second round of public hearings, which will take place in June, is which map to select. On Tuesday, May 7th, we're going to be at the Warren Community Center. Located at 5460 Arden Avenue in Warren, Michigan. We'll be meeting from 10 to 12:30. We'll be taking a lunch from 12:30 to 1:30. We'll come back and meet 1:30 to 3. There'll be a break between 3 and 4, and then we'll have an afternoon/evening session from 4 to 7. We'll follow that same time frame at the Pearls Event Center, a beautiful new facility on Northwestern Highway. That same time on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, May 9th, we'll be at the Wayne State University Student Center. Those are the times where the commission will be actually meeting. So if you get there between those times, the commission would love your assistance in helping them to draw the maps. In particular, your community of interest as it relates to the state Senate. We will be posting this on the website, so it'll be available tomorrow, but it does have some talking points with regards to that. We will ask people if you have any questions, you can actually go to our website or give us a call at 1-866-MAP-FAIR. I repeat, 1-866-627-3247. 866-627-3247. And just wanted to make sure the public was aware of these public hearing coming up in May. that we're going to have one in Macomb County, one in Oakland County, and one in Wayne County. And once again, the idea if in these in-person meetings that will also be virtual in nature is for people to come with maps or come with ideas. We will have someone in the lobby. So if you don't know how to run the map software, or you just have ideas that will assist the public in drawing their community of interest to keep them whole, we will have someone in the lobby that can assist them, that will have a computer and provide assistance during that time. Parking at each and every one of these locations is free. Once again, parking at each and every one of these locations is free, and just really want to encourage the public to come out and assist the commission in drawing the Senate maps, and in particular in keeping their communities of interest whole. If there's any questions, Commissioner Eid, I can take them at this time regarding this promotional flyer.
Are there any questions or discussion for Commissioner Woods' report? I'll say the flyer is helpful. Thank you. You know, we've been going to a lot of community meetings across Metro Detroit over the past couple of weeks, and having that flyer to bring with us and provide to the public, I think is great. So thanks for that.
All right. The next report is dealing with redistricting 301. It's just a way to kind of explain where we are in the mapping process. This was also shared with the commission. It will be on our website tomorrow. It just gives the background of the commission. You know, we had a redistricting 101, we had a redistricting 201. This is 301. It talks about the guiding principles that relates to the commission's strategic plan. It identifies the commissioners. It talks about what is redistricting, why you should care, what are the 7 redistricting criteria. It talks about the total population in Michigan from the census, the breakdown of the 161 districts in Michigan, what maps were approved by the commission for the 2022 election, why did the commission have to redraw the maps for the Michigan House and Senate, what did the commission do to remedy the state house maps, what about the Michigan Senate, and it just talks about the districts. You can click on a hyperlink to the adjacent districts for those that get electronically, so they can see what will be impacted by the process. And then it talks about the public hearings that we just referenced earlier. It also lets them know that there'll be a virtual public hearing where the commission will actually explain the maps that were published and are going to be considered by the commission to submit one of those to the court. And then it talks about the future public hearings when they can talk about the maps. And then it's going to talk about the date that is due on July 26th. And then it tells you how to engage the commission with regards to emails or text alerts, how to mail public comments, how to sign up to provide virtual in-person public comments at the meetings, submit public or mapping comments, and then our social media, as well as our YouTube channel, and where to call. So just wanted to make sure that the commission is aware of this information. We will provide the hyperlink to the form so people can sign up when they want to speak, whether it's virtual or in person, under the 3rd bullet there, so that people will have that information as well. So just wanted the commission to be aware of what's taking place there. In addition, we have met with both Bacano Communications and Colthrit, and they are going to get started with the social media, non-traditional, and our outreach information, so people are aware of these meetings that are taking place actually 2 weeks from today. So we really want the public to be aware of this information and come out and participate and encourage those that are listening with your organizations and communities in your sphere of influence in Southeast Michigan to show up and speak up and be a part of this process. If there's any questions, Commissioner Eid, I can take them at this time.
Are there any questions for Executive Director Woods? I do not see any. Thank you, Mr. Woods.
And
okay.
then,
Oh, go ahead.
Last but not least, just want to inform the commission that we are working and providing information with regards to our budget request, our supplemental budget requests with regards to funds. As you already know, our funds are dwindling. And we do have payments to both the special master and forgot Mr. Groffman, and there's going to be, I forgot the other gentleman's name that we are required to pay per the court order. And so just want to make sure that the commission is aware that we are working on providing that information to obtain the supplemental budget request for this fiscal year.
Thank you, Mr. Woods. We appreciate the progress being made on the budget. All right, we will move on to announcements and acknowledgements. Are there any announcements? Mr. Woods?
Thank you. Just want to remind our public audience that tomorrow we'll be meeting twice. We'll be meeting twice tomorrow from 10 o'clock a.m. to 1 o'clock p.m. and then again from 4 o'clock p.m. to 7 o'clock p.m. Just want to remind the public, we will have a meeting scheduled from 10 to 1 and then again from 4 to 7 on tomorrow. We will also meet on Thursday of this week, following the same schedule as tomorrow, 10 to 1, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Thursday, and then again from 4 to 7 o'clock p.m. We encourage you to show up, speak up, and make sure your voices are heard as we do the Senate maps. Thank you so much, Commissioner Eaton.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Executive Director Woods. I'll just like to say, you know, I'm still new at being chair. I really am trying my best to follow Robert's rules. I got a copy right here for anyone watching, and I'm going through it. The unanimous consent stuff is in section 4 on page 49. But I'm always looking for constructive criticism. So if any of my fellow commissioners have any for me, feel free to give me a call. I would enjoy that. And I'll just end by thanking all of you. I think there was some really good collaboration today. And I'd also like to thank everybody for being cordial. With that, the items on the agenda are complete and the commission has no further business. So a motion to adjourn is in order. Would anyone like to make that motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
We have a motion to adjourn by Commissioner Lett and a second, I believe, by Commissioner Wagner.
Yes, that's correct.
Wonderful. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we are adjourned at 6:54 p.m. See y'all tomorrow.